so that we can be live on YouTube. Is that a dog behind you?
That's King.
I've never seen this dog before, Gavin. I've known you for literally years, and I've never seen this dog in my entire life. Is this a new dog?
No. He's my wife's.
Right, because you're married now.
I am married.
Congratulations on your marriage, by the way.
Thank you.
I heard it went well.
It went very well. You heard that from me, actually.
I did hear it from you, Gavin. It may surprise you, but I only talked to like 19 people, and you're one of them.
That's about 17 more people than I talked to.
I know. I represent 50% of your social interaction, me and Mariah.
Yeah, essentially. But yeah,
there's 3 people you talk to. You occasionally talk to my wife when I'm on the phone with you.
That's true. She is like an extension of you, though, really, if you think about it.
No, Gavin, no.
Well, here's the thing.
Distinct individuals. There's no reliance or ownership going on between us.
Yeah.
Equal marriage.
Anyways, the dog, as I was trying to say before you rudely interrupted me multiple times, is my wife's grandmother's dog. And one of her other dogs was attacking him multiple times. And so we took him from her grandmother.
I see. Oh, you know what I need to add into the agenda, Gavin? I don't know how we're going to squeeze this in.
I've got other items too.
Yeah, the kit tier maker.
You know, everyone's been doing the kit tier maker this year. Should we really do it? I feel like we're late to the party.
Well, look, we record on Mondays. It's the curse of recording on Mondays. If you wanted to do a kit tier maker when everyone else was doing it, then you would have recorded. You would have texted me on like Friday night and said, "Hey, I'm lying awake in bed, having intense fear of missing out, as though I'm."
No, I don't get FOMO.
Well, then see.
King's getting FOMO. Look at this guy.
I don't think he is. He looks fine. King looks like he's chilling.
Well,
King looks like an emo kid when I was in high school, because like one eye is completely covered and the other eye is not covered.
Well, he actually only has one eye. He has that eye.
So you're saying he's not part of a team because there's no eye in team.
Well, he has a eye.
Right, so he's not part of a team.
Right, he's not part of a team, but he doesn't have 2 eyes. He's only one.
Right.
Yeah, he had that eye thing, so they had to remove it.
That does happen with everyone. So.
All right, let me post that we're live, and we can get started.
Oh my gosh, we're live right now?
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. And we're live.
I never would have guessed from the time that I hit start recording that we would be live. You don't know this, Gavin, because you weren't on the recording, but this is my 3rd cup of margarita.
I told you to text me when you were going to be...
When I was going to be what?
Recording.
I told you. 7 o'clock.
You told me a couple days ago. I told you to text me day of.
Okay, Gavin, you can't expect me to text you day of when I've got a margarita.
You can't expect me to remember when you don't text me day of. It's that simple.
Margarita. It's that simple. Get a margarita. What are you drinking tonight, Gavin?
A Miller Lite. I've been trying to drink for the last 2 hours.
Well, see, there's your issue right there. You're drinking a Miller Lite. You're not drinking a Coors Light.
Gross.
King of game day beers.
I had a interesting dinner experience.
Oh, do tell. I too had an interesting dinner experience. I suspect mine will be better than yours, though. So you go first.
I was making bratwurst.
All right.
And I went inside, and we have a cat that hangs out on our back porch, and we have indoor cats. and my indoor cat does not like other cats, as cats do. And it's cold outside, and my indoor cat likes when it's cold outside. And my indoor cat, when I opened the door while I was outside grilling my bratwurst, ran out into my back porch. And so that caused a mini heart attack for me because I did not need my cat to get into a fight with the backyard cat. I just didn't need that tonight. So I finally handled that situation and got the other cat inside. And cats are quite pesky individuals, so I had to lure him in with some food. So it took a minute. And then I started making the side dish for my dinner. And then by the time I got back to my grill was on fire, and my bratwurst were all burned. As well as the 2 impossible bratwurst for my wife. And so I had to restart with 2 more impossible bratwurst, and that is what I had for dinner. What was your dinner experience?
Well, Gavin, I took the chance to try something new for dinner.
It's the worst thing ever.
Well, I pureed some San Marzano tomatoes using a food processor, and I did like a mixture of herbs and spices in with that, as well as like some chicken stock to help thin it out, create a good base for a sauce. And then I mixed with it. I did a throwback to my childhood. I put in a can of cream of mushroom soup into this like tomato base. Yeah. And then on the side, I cooked up like all the meat and veggies and everything. And I got that all nice and seasoned. And I let the fats from the meat cook out and really help soften up the onion and some of the bell pepper that was in there. And I tossed all that in and let it simmer in with the tomato cream sauce. And it kind of thickened into like this weird consistency that was like a Skyline chili type consistency, which I love Skyline chili. If you're a Midwesterner, you know Skyline chili. If you're not a Midwesterner, you might not know Skyline chili, especially considering Skyline chili is only in like 4 states. So there's a very high chance
made sure that I know all about Skyline chili.
I know for a fact that you know about Skyline chili. And Gavin, I will at some point send you a Skyline chili gift card so you can go to Flamingo Crossing in Orlando, Florida, and you can try Skyline chili.
One day.
This podcast not sponsored by Skyline chili, but
it really should be at this point.
Yeah, should be for how often I talk about Skyline chili or Coors Light, apparently. But yeah, I mean, point being, I made the sauce. It reduced as I took the lid off. It started to reduce into like a consistency more towards Skyline chili, which was honestly very pleasant as a surprise because I also used Geta as my meat instead of normal meat tonight, which I love Geta. Huge, enormous fan of Geta. Cincinnati staple. If you've never tried Geta before, it's like a very niche local product, but highly encourage you. It's wonderful. And so I made like a Geta tomato cream mushroom sauce. I don't know how to like describe it. It was delicious. It was wonderful. The oats that go into the mixture of Geta, because Geta is like an oat and meat blend, really absorbed a lot of the acidity and grease from the sauce, and it worked really, really, really well. It was delicious. It was light. It was aromatic. It was flavorful and not heavy.
Well, I can confirm you had a much better experience than I had.
I had a much better. In fact, Gavin, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to text you a picture of my dinner so that you can look in envy for my glorious dinner, as well as I'll send you a picture of this sauce so you can see the texture, and you can be like, based on the pictures that I've seen on Google, that looks like Skyline chili.
That's exactly what I want. I want you to revel in my sadness.
Absolutely, and I do so.
It looks delicious, actually. It looks very good.
Phenomenal. I made an enormous amount of sauce. I will have sauce for pasta and whatever I want to use it for at least 3 additional meals with the amount of sauce that I have.
I love lots of sauce, so.
Mm-hmm.
Good man. Good man.
Yeah.
Good man. So, good man.
All right. Well, Gavin, should we start? What do you think?
Let's do it. Yeah, we're a little behind. Let's do it.
Okay. You know what, Gavin? I'm not even gonna do a music playing.
Okay.
We're gonna wing it. We're gonna do. Okay, fine. I'll do it just for you. Here you go.
No,
it's okay.
It's
There
beautiful.
you go.
They did such a
I
good
know.
job.
They did do a good job, Gavin. You're right. You're right. They did do a good job. But anyways,
Am I bigger on the stream now?
what do you mean, are you bigger on the stream, Gavin?
Well, I clicked the little minimize or max expand frame button, and I wanted to see if that messes with what it looks like on YouTube, but it doesn't.
That would be wild if you
Yeah.
could influence how it looks on YouTube, considering I'm the one with the controls for the podcast.
That's fair. That's fair. So
I'd be very impressed.
can you make an overlay?
I'm sure I could if I was motivated to find out how to do so.
I feel like that's our next step, is to make some overlays.
Perhaps so.
Okay, sorry. We'll get started.
Step is that step's for future iterations of the MLS Now podcast. Which, hey, in case you didn't already know, you're listening to the MLS Now podcast. I'm your host, Russell. You can find me on social media at Mr. Danger Russ, and you can find the podcast on social media at MLS Now Podcast, as well as online at mlsnowpodcast.com. And joining us, as always, it's Monday. You know him. You love him. His fiance loves him more. His now wife loves him more, of course. I assume, I can only hope that is the case. It's Gavin. You can find him on social media at LionsBlog1. Gavin, congratulations on your wedding. You got married last week. We did not record on Monday because, we have this wonderful thing called a podcast life balance, where we don't ask you to, I don't know, carve out time from your newlywed lifestyle and instead be online recording with us. We would never in a million years ask you to do that, because we care about your health, we care about your well-being, and we care about you as a person, Gavin. So hello, welcome. It's good to see you again.
Hello, my friend. It's good to be back. Wedding went well, as I've said before, and
many times in our phone calls that we have, because we apparently don't spend enough time talking to each other on the podcast or on social media. So we've graduated to having phone calls, usually while I'm driving specifically.
Not always true. I'll call you when I'm doing something. I tried to call you today.
You did try to call me today, and I was busy recording a preseason preview for our elevator pitch extravaganza contest, Palooza sweepstakes, extraordinaire.
All the things.
Right.
There's a reason I was going to, or I called you, not I was going to. There's a reason I called you.
Yes.
Do we want to talk about why? I saw the news.
Ooh,
the breaking news.
Tell me the breaking news.
I guess I should find the article so I don't misrepresent it. But U.S. Open Cup news is what we're going to go into first, which I'm sure by the time people are listening to this, people are already tired of hearing. But here we are.
Well,
even the people who
are they more tired of hearing about Messi, or are they more tired about hearing about U.S. Open Cup drama?
Probably U.S. Open Cup drama at this point. But
that's impressive.
Even if people are watching live, I'm sure they're tired of the U.S. Open Cup drama.
No, I would never tire of it, Gavin, because I'm a certified soccer sicko. We really need to get stickers made of that.
Yeah, we do. So I believe an ESPN FC article dropped tonight. And, ESPN. Source, 2024 U.S. Open Cup gets go-ahead under proposed new format. The biggest piece of it is not every MLS team will be participating.
Yeah, which MLS has been pushing for that. The timeline of events here, MLS has been pushing for quite a while to not participate in the U.S. Open Cup in a full capacity. They have proposed having their MLS Next Pro teams participate. They have proposed having fewer teams participate, based on if they're playing in other competitions, based on schedule congestion, which is entirely MLS created. It has to be admitted up front. They have created the schedule congestion, and their roster rules that they've created are really the limiting factor for all these reasons they say they shouldn't have to participate in U.S. Open Cup. To say otherwise, I think, is to misrepresent the vast degree of control they have over this situation, because ultimately it's one match is all they're obligated to play in, and you can throw that match and you can lose in round, whatever you go into, and you can forget about the cup and not even play your starters in it. And rather than doing that, they just don't even want to bother to show up and give some semblance of credibility to this tournament. And I think a large part of it is just about controlling the fact that they are, exclusive and top tier and don't have to be seen with, the so-and-sos and the riffraff. So it's very unfortunate. I don't like it. And that's my rant. That's my position on it. And this culminates in the this news coming out after, I believe, the U.S. Soccer Federation board president for the U.S. Open Cup also stepped down earlier today. And yes, so now here we are. Supposedly the MLS is only going to have, 8 teams participate or something?
I don't know exactly how many. I don't think that was listed in the article, but it just says not all. The precise level of team participation from MLS and USL clubs is still to be determined.
Hate that. Hate it.
It's basically, for me, it's curtains for the competition. Like, in a few years, it'll be gone, I think.
Yeah, I am surprised that USL involvement is being also thrown into question here, because honestly, this is the one tournament that I would imagine USL would want to really rally around, considering, USL and MLS both want to be the exclusive game in town, right? You don't really see places where USL teams and MLS teams coexist together. That's not the norm. They would rather have defined geographic areas and be the only product that you can see in that one geographic area. And this part of that was even with like Chattanooga, right? How they went to MLS Next Pro because there's geographic restrictions on USL teams having exclusivity to certain geographic regions. So it's nonsensical to me how both of these organizations want to control U.S. soccer. And the country's big enough. There's enough people out there that they can support these teams. It's very frustrating for me personally. I recognize that I care quite a lot more than maybe your average American, maybe not as much as others, maybe more than some others. I'm not saying that I'm the most passionate about it. That would be, grossly misrepresentative, but it's very disappointing to me either way, this series of events.
Yeah, me too, for sure. It is extremely disappointing, and it's just greedy from MLS, and it's kind of opened my eyes a bit, I think, to the extent that the league will go to make money and be the most powerful, because that's all the noise around this. The reasoning for this is that this is a power grab. It's not necessarily, the players play too many games. We're really thinking about the players and the teams, and we want to make sure that they're okay. They don't give up. They don't. You're right. They don't care. And so
they care about the players to the extent that the players make them money and protect the value of the brand.
Yep. They could, with the player, they could update the roster rules, increase the salary cap to allow for players to make more money. They could do all sorts of things to help out their players.
If they cared about the players.
Yeah, but instead they are trying to take away a competition that was doing fine, and then they added on a new competition. Like, basically, Leagues Cup and Open Cup, they're saying cannot coexist. And Leagues Cup didn't exist 2 seasons ago. It did, but not in the capacity. Like, it was 2 games. It wasn't so many games. It was some worthless competition that nobody really paid attention to.
And I guarantee you, Gavin, in the summer, there are going to be Premier League and championship teams that are going to have friendlies in the middle of the summer with the first teams of some of these teams. And they're going to not be complaining about fixture congestion. Then they're going to be saying, look at this brand building experience that we get to have. We get to bring, name whatever team you want. We get to bring Chelsea. We get to bring world-class players in for the people in our region to enjoy and to have them, experience a once in a lifetime event. It's like, where was this energy when you were playing Chattanooga or Phoenix Rising?
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So really, really disappointing news today that it's been agreed, but it seems like the reporting the other day was that MLS had the United States in a chokehold, basically, for
U.S. Open Cup.
U.S. Soccer Federation.
Right.
Yeah.
If MLS had the United States in
power.
a chokehold, I would be shocked. That's what we call the NFL, Gavin.
Right. Yeah. Fair. So, yeah, it was a power grab, and they took full advantage of it. Disappointing. So that's
Very
all I've got to say on the matter.
Yeah. I have nothing else on that because, well, to be quite fair, I have tons more on it, Gavin, but we also have a full-on episode that we have to run at a certain point, so we do need to probably move on. Anything else you want to really bring up before we talk about the next outrage, if you will?
No, let's get on to the next.
All right, continuing with outrage culture, we're going to go to the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Hey, Gavin, would you like to talk about soccer first, or would you talk about outrage culture first?
I don't know what you're talking about with outrage culture, so let's get into the soccer.
Ooh, okay. Well, Tigres versus Vancouver Whitecaps did kick off this week. We've actually had quite a good amount of Champions Cup matches if you've been following along on channels such as FS2 or TUDN or Univision or the Tubi app, which has been broadcasting CONCACAF Champions Cup matches for free, mind you, my favorite price. And anyways, Vancouver versus Tigres, I was very disappointed that they did not get the W over Tigres at home, and they lost away as well. So Vancouver's out. Comes as no big shock, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it does. Vancouver were decent in the tie, in my opinion.
They looked great at home and did everything the hardest way possible and didn't score anywhere near the number of chances they had. And I was very frustrated for them because they could have done a lot better than what they did.
That home tie, when it comes to these Liga MX games, you have to win your home tie, I think. I think that is close to a requirement if you're going to get through these, because those away games are just really, really difficult. And so you got to take your chances in the home games. You got to win those home games. And then in the away games, I mean, it was a pretty even first half from what I remember. And I think they went in 0-0. And then really Vancouver conceded early in the second half, and they didn't really put up much of a fight from there, in my opinion. Not a lot of chances, not a lot of domination, just an even match. And then the second goal went in, and Vancouver fell apart because tie was over at that point. Down 2 goals, a few minutes left. So let in a third. So yeah, disappointing exit for the team, but not surprising.
Right. Well, there's still 8 more MLS teams yet in CONCACAF Champions Cup, which is just insanity to me. I mean, we had 9 teams qualify for it. So surely one of them will advance moderately far in the tournament, if not to the finals. Fingers crossed. Enormous question mark hanging over that. I mean, with that many teams in it, if they all go out in the first couple of rounds, you got to do some soul searching there.
Oh, yeah. That would be bad. Very, 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 very bad.
Yeah. So, hey, on the flip side of things, Gavin, over the weekend, which is always when you want to drop important sponsorship news, especially when people might hate it, over the weekend it was announced that CONCACAF has announced a new energy partner. It is Aramco. It's a Saudi-backed energy company.
Okay.
Very interesting to me, considering there's quite a number of energy companies in North America, for that matter, that are headquartered within CONCACAF. So I think it's DC United got a lot of flack for their time that they spent in Saudi Arabia during the preseason. Inter Miami got a decent amount of flack just in general. I mean, they toured
just for existing.
Just for existing, but they got flack for having matches in Saudi Arabia as well. They got flack for having matches in China. They got flack for having matches really anywhere for that matter. But they equally got flack for what was going on there. And there's of course a push just internationally as well for how much involvement the country has in other clubs internationally, which we reside in the US, so I'll let other people handle that discussion on domestic clubs for them. But I'm interested to hear your opinion. I mean, it's a bit odd, I think, to partner with an organization that has nothing to do with the Confederation, in my mind. I think there's a lot of organizations you could have partnered with. It doesn't even have to be a US-based one, but if you're the North American Soccer Confederation, why are you partnering with foreign, outside organizations that have no involvement with your countries?
Well, we all know why. It's money talks, right? But yeah.
Right.
I don't know. There's so much. I struggle to get too worked up with this one just because there's so many different things you could be upset about within the sport when it comes to the advertising, right? You could be upset with a lot of people are upset with gambling and betting books being so prevalent in the advertisements when gambling addictions are very high right now. There are people.
White label brands, especially, is, I believe, what people are most upset about.
What's a white label brand?
So Gavin, I love this. You're going to let me go
down. When you explain it to me, I'll probably understand it, but I just don't know what it is.
This is especially prevalent, I believe, in the UK. So a white label brand is, let's say, a foreign company. Let's say they're headquartered in Macau, right? Somewhere, or, over in Asia. And they say, we want to advertise our site on English Premier League matches. Well, what they do is they register themselves, through a white label brand, which holds a gambling license, which lets them advertise gambling services in these matches, but they're not actually a service, nor does what they're advertising even necessarily exist. It's just to get a name out there. And so you'll see this with like a lot of Chinese gambling sites in particular. You'll see like, like what is it, like Bet88 or something.
I've seen that one.
or like Fun 88 or whatever. I mean, it's a lot of brands that it doesn't necessarily make sense for you or I, right? Without the context of knowing that these are gambling services targeting people in Asia, where they might not normally be able to advertise to them, but because they are getting an advertisement through a white label brand that holds a valid gambling license and can advertise legally on these Premier League matches or buy sponsorships on these teams, even though as a foreign entity, they might not be allowed to purchase those, they get them through an intermediary so they can still advertise. And when their viewers in Asia look at them, then they can still see that brand and they can still get the advertising and be aware that that brand exists.
Interesting. Yeah, so I can see how that can be a problem.
Yeah, so those ads are not targeted towards you or I. We're not the target audience for them, and they're very expensive. It's specifically targeting an entire different subset that is also consuming Premier League, and that, I think it's something we all secretly know. We're aware of the idea that not all advertising is geared towards us specifically. Sometimes stuff just isn't made for us, but this is one of those cases where it's really big money geared towards a certain population. And you'd have no idea because, you and I, we could just go to FanDuel or DraftKings or MGM or Caesars or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it's relatively easy and accessible.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. The one I was thinking of actually is the fake um companies, right? That's another thing that people get upset about because it's illegal to create fake companies. They're basically just
they're crypto companies.
Not the crypto companies, but I was also going to say crypto in general, like teams who do crypto advertisers. So, anyways, long story short, fate or there's so much to be upset about when it comes to advertisers. Just this to me just feels like another one.
Right. I agree with you to an extent. I think, it's for me. Look, we're aware of the impact of money in the sport, in all sport, honestly, for that matter at this point. But it's just like there's no spin you can do on this, right? Like these white label brands, you could say, hey, well, they're a UK registered company, so of course we can advertise here in the UK. That's what we're here for. Similarly, you could say that for anything, but it's just like it's so on the nose and obvious now that it's about moving money around and exchanging that for favors or impressions or favorability with people, or I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. Like there's no conceivable spin to me at this point. Like, and look, I aware we're well past that stage of the slippery slope at this point, but I mean we're not even trying to hide it or spin it anymore. It's very it's very, again, it's frustrating, it's disappointing, it's about using money to control the narrative and to control power at this point. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I didn't realize that was an issue. And then I did see the DC United thing as well.
Fans boycotting the first 4 matches for organized
I did
fan
see
support.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm not fully educated, but like, I didn't think we had any beef with Saudi Arabia. What was the issue?
I think mainly there's just I think it's just a big push at the moment where the morals and values of different societies and countries don't align. And I wouldn't say that it is irreconcilable, but that people are targeting entire countries and people based on the actions of government that people may or may not entirely support. And unfortunately, I mean, look, people attribute it to the US as well. There's plenty of things that the US government does that you and I may not support or fully agree with, but people attribute it to us in the same way. They say, well, you're Americans, and that means you're responsible for these acts of your government. Well, we do the same thing for other countries. We don't like how their governments run things, and so we target the country or people of the country as a whole. So unfortunately, that's kind of just, again, the state of the world on the matter.
Gotcha.
But being a superpower in the West, Americans are largely isolated from it. We certainly are, at least. I mean,
yeah. I don't have any problems with Saudi Arabia. I have problems with other countries over there, but not Saudi Arabia.
It's
unless I'm not thinking of something, but yeah.
Well, we can talk more about this in a better forum than a soccer chat.
Yes, for sure. So, okay. Miami. Do we just want to hit on the news from last week?
Oh my gosh, what
is it from
Gavin? It's like a month of news at this point. They have so much going on. Oh my gosh. I mean, you have Redondo was off, he was on, he was off again. Now Redondo's back on to Miami. DeAndre Yedlin might be moving on from Miami. Taylor might be moving on from Miami. They have people going out. They, in recent news, may not be roster compliant by the time that roster compliance rolls around, which is, personally, I think when you have Messi and Suarez and Busquets and Jordi Alba and all these big names on the team, I don't want to say, oh, MLS isn't going to care, but I think there's going to be a lot more leeway and flex for Miami to bend the rules a little bit on being
Yes.
compliant. And that is unfortunately just the nature of the beast in this case. Now, granted, they can't flagrantly ignore the rules, right? Like there has to be some reasonable level of interpretation there where you've got to at least make it look like you've tried to be compliant. So they're definitely going to have some moves there. But yeah, so a report came out, I think, here in the last week or so, basically saying there's no way they're going to be compliant, or it's going to be very challenging for them to be compliant. I think it was The Athletic put that one out. And basically it's now looking like they will be compliant because, oh, look, Gregory is now off to another team, and oh, they got Gam for it because they sold him for a bunch of money, and it was more.
Well, that's not
they paid
magical.
for
That's
him.
not magical. That's in the rules. That's been in the rules.
It's in the rules, yes, but
then they went and spent more money.
Right. Yeah, they went and spent the money, and let's be honest, Gavin, Miami are certainly quite good at doing business, better seemingly than any other club in terms of getting either mutual terminations or fees for players that might not otherwise garner that type of fee. And it could just be you can chalk it up to Chris Henderson being, a world-class sporting executive. Very possible. Yeah, entirely possible. You could chalk it up to a lot of things. I think plenty of people out there have tinfoil hats, given the history with Miami and roster rules, and giving some of the dubious nature of some deals they've had and the frequency with which they have mutual terminations of contracts. And there are people who are going to believe it 100% and defend it with their, every breath and being that Miami are 100% by the book. And there are people who are going to say there's no way, you can't convince me otherwise. And that's up to every individual person, I think, to make that assessment on where they fall on that scale.
For sure. Yep. My assumption is they will have to be doing it legally. I mean, considering where they were just a couple years ago by doing things illegally, I'm sure they're being watched with a keen eye by the league, or the league is actually doing what all the conspiracy theorists feel, and the league is giving them leeway because they're getting the biggest talents in the world, the biggest names in the world to play for them right now.
Impossible to say. Impossible to say with certainty. Easy to speculate.
Easy. I don't think that's happening though.
Yeah, I would like to believe. Look, whether it's Miami or whatever, right? If another team went out and signed Messi, or if a team went out and got, some equivalent, like let's say Sporting Kansas City during all those rumors linking them to Ronaldo actually went out and got Ronaldo, they would probably get some leeway too. I think MLS is going to protect teams that are increasing the value of the brand. And if they have to do that by fudging the numbers a little bit, making it, good enough, you eyeball it and say, it's fine. We can say we're not totally transparent about the roster rules, and they had secret TAM that they carried over from prior year or whatever. Like they can hand wave away minor differences. But whether that's good or bad, whether it's fair or not, it's technically not fair. But whether you like it or not, they can do it because they're MLS.
Right. Yeah. I mean, everyone likes to jump there. I don't like to jump there. I think Miami will be roster compliant, especially with getting a couple players out. I think they had a player that loan with option to buy. I think a younger player went out as well. So they got some players out, and then they got a player in Redondo who's U22, so that takes no GAM. And
right.
My understanding, he is under 22 initiative, no GAM there. So those are the kind of moves where I'm thinking like, yes, they were in a desperate situation, but they figured it out. They did have to get rid of a very good player in Grigor, and now or Gregory, I don't know how to say it.
Gregory, yeah.
Okay,
And
but
likely at least one, probably two more.
yeah.
Now, again,
But they'll figure it out.
Yeah, they're gonna figure it out, and it's entirely possible that they really just get all the best deals because Chris Henderson is a master of being a sporting executive.
Yeah, and maybe they'll
Entirely
lose.
possible.
Oh, they'll probably lose another good player. They already lost one good player, right?
Yeah,
They'll probably
and-
have to lose another one. Same with what happened with Lewis Morgan. Remember, same thing.
Yeah,
So.
I'm not personally fully convinced that Miami are built to go the distance this season. I think there's a lot of variability. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, later on, because I think you and I have very different perspectives on how effective Miami's roster and ability to be consistent is going to be in a different section. But yeah, it's ultimately a very long season, and for better or worse, some of these guys are 37 or 38 years old, and frankly, they won't go 10 months. Just a fact.
Yeah, we all knew that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting start to the season. I think I could see them having a hot start, honestly. But as the season wears on, it's going to be tough.
It will be tough.
And they are everybody's biggest game.
Absolutely.
Everyone's playing them physical. Everyone's playing them hard. Everyone's playing as their top tier.
You are going 100% into challenges. You are tracking back to defend every single counterattack. You are pressing hard when you're out of possession. You are going in for crunching challenges. It's going to be really interesting to see how these matches are refereed as well, which, Gavin, hey, this takes us to another great topic.
Well, I just want to put a point on that last one.
Go ahead.
Messi and co. Have been dealing with that their whole entire careers. But
you mean other teams have been dealing with that? Messi's entire career.
Well, no. I mean the point about this being their biggest game of the season, right? So Messi's been dealing with that. Suarez has been dealing with that. Jordi Alba has been dealing with that their entire careers.
That's fair.
But their careers are coming to an end, and again, this is where the being tired is going to hinder them. I think later in the season, they're not going to be able to keep up. I think they're gonna slow down a bit. So that's fine.
They are ultimately only human. You can say all you want about how these guys have been doing it all their career, but look, the very strong hand of Father Time's clock lays hands on everyone, right? Like
for sure.
It's the only set of hands that wins every single fight.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of how long can you last in the ring.
Yeah, exactly.
So hey, so what I was alluding to earlier, Gavin, more drama, right? MLS referees on lockout watch warning. Season's going to start without them is what it comes down to. Multiple proposals have been submitted, multiple proposals rejected. The PSRA has put out multiple statements saying why they've been rejecting these things, whether it be compensation, health benefits. They claim that the statements made by MLS and pro referees are false about the veracity of their offers in comparison to global leagues and how much referees are compensated there. And I think there's a statistic or number comparison that probably could be drawn up to say that, well, what you're saying about these referees is true, but you got to think about, for instance, let's say, one of the ideas is that they're offering a very competitive pay package globally. Well, how well are referees paid globally? Is it
not great?
Is it Premier League? Is it Bundesliga? They're paid probably pretty well. Is it a referee in Ecuador, in Peru, they're probably not paid as well. So,
even the refs in the Premier League are not getting paid what they're worth.
well, I don't know about that. I mean, the refereeing in Premier League is suspected, at a pretty regular rate, considering how many apologies they've had to issue from the PGMOL.
Yeah, well, they're not being paid great, and in comparison to what the league makes, it's not even close to what they're worth. Yeah. Not even close to what they're worth.
Yeah.
Look, on an individual level, they deserve more money, but on a being good at refereeing level, PGMOL is a disaster.
Yeah. In a dead heat with pro referees at being good at their jobs. Right. Only difference is I'm pretty sure PGMOL referees do make more than pro referees.
I would hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. Point being, they could afford to pay both better.
Yes.
That said, Gavin, you were telling me earlier there's a whole long list about the replacement referee situation. I know you weren't on this as well, but I was also just briefly talking replacement referees with Tim and Travis on a different recording. And it seems like the referees are being pulled from really anywhere they can find people from. And I think that's going to go exactly as well as it sounds like, personally.
Yeah, I'm disappointed to hear that this happened. I didn't think it was going to happen, but it is what it is.
100% thought it was going to happen.
I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought they were going to come to an agreement, but we're going to have replacement refs. We talked about it before. We've seen how this story plays out. The referees do terrible, and then the league gets forced to go with the professionals, and the professionals come in, and everyone learns to appreciate them. What is the saying? You don't know what you have till it's gone.
Grass is always greener.
No, I think I got it right the first time. Thank you, though. Sorry, just kidding.
Well, Gavin, you won't know what you have until I'm gone. So
fair.
Yeah.
But now,
in fairness, it's not like these are amateur refs. It's just they're refs from different leagues with different qualifications and standards, and maybe you don't necessarily have the same type of training that referees here have, which some people might say that's a good thing because some people really hate the way refereeing is conducted here in the U.S. So
that is true. People do not like it at times.
People don't like it. I can't help but feel like, look, I think people in general in the U.S. support organized labor. I don't know if there are many people in the U.S. that support organized labor amongst referees. And maybe some of that is the fact that it's a thankless job or that people always feel like they're out to get them. But I can't think of anything recently where you would have a union posting on social media and a vast majority of the replies would be either gloating about the lack of compromise or, calling them out saying, well, maybe if you got better at your jobs, you would find some sort of middle ground or something like that. I mean, it's tough to negotiate and find some sort of leverage when the public seems to actively hope for your downfall.
Yes, that is true. But I think that's where my statement comes in. I think we'll see what happens. Now, they could be playing a risky game, because what if these refs come in and they're no better or worse? Right? If the replacement refs come in and everything's fine or as expected, not fine and dandy, but as expected. Ooh.
Yeah.
Then those refs who are doing a lockout, they're in for a rough time. Yeah, they're in for a rough time.
Yeah, and I think that is the danger, right? If MLS comes in and says, we can get other referees that give us a better product. And you know what? If pro referees want, I don't know, let's pick a number, right? Like, let's say that pro referees want their referees to make an average of $100,000 a person. Not saying they do, just picking a number. If they go in and say $100,000 could get us the referees we currently have, or we could go get referees that are largely considered better from higher European leagues and offer them the same amount and give more credibility to pro referees, which is, an MLS side thing. Pro is linked at the hip with MLS. It's not pro and the PSRA don't work hand in hand. They're two different organizations. So if they went out and did the numbers and said, we would rather just pay these people who are going to give us a better look of credibility and public opinion, very possible they just go do that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I agree. All right. That's all I've got on referees. I guess I'll just call out that the center, I was reading an article, and the center referees for the replacements, there are 11 with experience in top 3 divisions of Brazil, Turkey, Spain, Italy, Jamaica, Mexico, and Poland. So a lot of diversity there. And then 10 are former or current national referees in U.S. soccer, and multiple were recommended and work Division I college soccer.
Nice. Well, as we know, college sports certainly has no bias or, dubious nature in there. That college sports is entirely above board in all levels of refereeing, coaching, and players. There's never been controversy.
No. And college soccer has some different rules than professional soccer. So I could see a couple lapses in judgment from those center referees where something slips through the cracks. They're not majorly different rules, but some different rules, specifically around timekeeping and substitutions and stuff like that.
I gotta say, I've got a generally favorable impression if they were to bring in referees with experience in Turkey, because I think Turkey and MLS, from a physicality standpoint, are relatively similar. So I think if someone is used to refereeing in that type of environment, they would transition well enough to refereeing an MLS match. The South American referees, I have a lot of concerns about, because how the game works in South America is very different in terms of physicality, in terms of what they let play, in terms of, how they officiate matches. So that would be extremely interesting to me to look at the difference in performances. But again, there are plenty of people who will say that there's already differences in performances and there's already no consistency in refereeing. So how is this any different? And
that's fair.
They've got an uphill battle, I believe.
Yeah, they do. Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got on the agenda?
Well, Gavin, I know you were waffling on this. Do you want to be late to the party and do a kit tier maker, or do we skip it and say that we are all about original hard-hitting, capital J journalism, and we just don't even talk about kits, and instead we go to the next extremely important, highly relevant topic that lots of people, I'm sure, care about and have no qualms with us discussing in depth for far too much time?
I'll just we can do the kit tier maker. That'll be fun. But I just want to quickly hit on just two things. I'm sure you saw the Eric Ramsey news today. The new or the rumored to be the new Minnesota United FC head coach.
I did see that, yes.
Was the set piece coach at Manchester United. What do you think of that?
Well, Eric Ten Hag is a fraud, so assistant coach to a fraud is probably an assistant fraud. Manchester United also haven't been very good at set pieces this year, if I'm being quite honest. So
yeah, they haven't.
Look, I'll play the wait and see. I'm very happy that a team has gone out and recruited a younger, up and coming type coach. You and I have discussed, we'd love to see Carlos Cuesta, who coaches under Mikel Arteta, get a chance. So if a team is finally going to go out and look and say, hey, let's go get these younger assistant coaches that are under more established coaches, I think that's a good first step. Is it the person that I personally would have scouted? Maybe not, but I'm not a professional scout. I'm not a soccer executive. So, we'll see how their strategy works out. Maybe this is a phenomenal hire. Minnesota does really well, or Minnesota does very poorly. I don't know. We have to see how the person does this season, but I will say that I'm glad that they're trying something new and hiring younger talent. Very happy about that.
Yeah, me too. And this is, I've said it before, this is a market that we should be looking into, both for players, young English players out of the Premier League, and as well as young coaches as well. So I'm glad we're looking this way. Set piece coach at Manchester United is interesting, but he must have done something right to come out on top, as there were still a decent amount of options for Minnesota to choose from within the league itself. So, yeah, wanted to hit on that. And then the other thing I wanted to hit on was Jovan Mijatovic signing for New York City FC.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
$8.6 million is the rumored transfer fee. Under 22 initiative striker, only 18 years old. I did a quick video. I watched a video on him, and he looks raw. He doesn't. I mean, he's only 18, so yeah. But he looks like he could turn into a very good player that could be sold for a lot of money. But yeah, at the moment he looks raw, but he's got the fundamentals. He's got good burst, like good acceleration over short spaces. Not sure he's like the fastest over in terms of long speed running. So if he's on a breakaway, I could see him getting caught up, but maybe that's just me. But the other things I noticed is he is a center forward, but he'll like drop deep to get the ball a lot. I think he likes to get his foot on the ball. And the other thing that I liked was that he seems to be able to create goals as well as score them. So he is a goal scorer for New York City FC, but he'll also, I think, be able to get the ball up at center forward, hold it up for a second, turn and play in one of their other forwards, whose names are not coming to my mind right now for some reason.
There's a good reason for that.
That's true. I'm envisioning one of their forwards running in behind and fluffing their chance.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, I understand your apprehension in it, and I think my apprehension stems from the fact that Nick Cushing is still a head coach there. Coach Joe with us is, of course, very outspoken about his distaste for Cushing as a head coach. Some of that has rubbed off on me. Some of it just comes from watching NYCFC and being like, they're not a very good or tactically solid team under Cushing. So it's not like I'm entirely listening to Coach Joe here, because he's got a good point, right? Yes. So that's my big question for me. If it's a player who is very raw, how much do we trust Nick Cushing to develop that talent? And I don't know if I have any faith in Nick Cushing to do that. So be very interested. I hope it goes well. But
it has to. They're spending a lot of money on him.
Yeah, I mean, it's an enormous amount of money. Same thing, though, Mykhailo Mudryk. We got an enormous amount of money spent on him to go to Chelsea. And look what went on for his first 12-ish months there.
Right. Yep. For sure. For sure.
Yeah, tons of money does not guarantee success.
Correct. Okay, last one then. Oh no, we hit on
the last one was the last one.
Yeah, that was the last one. Okay, so we can do the tier maker. So I'll let you run that.
You'll let me run that? Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Gavin.
You're welcome.
Hey,
I'm so kind.
Gavin,
Yes, sir.
how would you like to talk about this tier maker? Yeah, I've got a tier maker. Oh,
You
presentation
did the
mode.
thing.
Yeah, look at that presentation mode. No ads. So I've got a tier maker. Gavin, I've got a few category titles here that we've briefly discussed. So at the very top, you've got iconic, instant cop. You see it at the store and you're like, I'm buying this. You got Rocket every day. It's something that you're happy to wear out on the street. You're gonna maybe you'll even in some cases wear underneath your tux at a wedding. Who knows? But either way, you're gonna wear it out proudly. You got Solid Kit, something that you see and you're like, hey, that's pretty good. I'll wear that to match days. I'm happy to be seen in it. I might not wear it out to the mall, but it's good. You got the TJ Maxx discount aisle. Not even TJ Maxx regular, but you go to the clearance section and you're like, this is $8.99. Think I'll pick this up because it's worth it at $8.99. And then finally, I wouldn't be caught dead in it. If I lost a bet, I still would not even say, yep, I'll wear this. Like if I'm laying in a casket, no chance. This is a horrific kit. Throw it in the burn pile, like from Ted Lasso. We're going to break the curse. Terrible kit.
Okay, let's do it. I'm excited.
All right. Okay. Well, we're just going to go super fast, instant reactions. Gavin, we're going to take Charlotte. What do you think about this kit?
I've seen a lot of hype for this kit. It's not sitting with me that well. So, solid. What do you think?
I agree with you. Yeah, it's solid. I mean, look, I wouldn't hate to be seen in it.
It's just not my favorite, I don't think.
I don't love it. I don't hate it. Goes in the middle. Solid. Chicago Fire.
Solid. What do you think?
I agree. Yep, solid.
Yeah,
Again,
solid. It's decent. It's not bad.
It's decent.
Not good.
Yeah, it's not bad, not good. CF Montreal.
I like this one. I like the stripe. I would hit Rocket every day.
All right, I agree with you. Yeah, look at that. We're in sync.
We are.
Columbus Crew, Charlie Brown kit.
Okay. I wouldn't be caught that in it.
You wouldn't be caught. I might put it in like the discount aisle because.
Okay, discount aisle.
I mean, it's not great.
I don't like it.
Look, I don't love it, but it's certainly like there's many other kits that I would not be caught dead in from this year, and this is not one of them. So, you got DC United. This is gonna sound insane. Do you remember the Arsenal, the all black, like away or third kit from like 2 years ago? This kind of reminds me of it.
A little bit, yeah.
I hope that doesn't
discount
influence
aisle?
your opinion.
No, it doesn't. Discount aisle?
Okay.
I don't know. It's just I don't know. That's weird.
I would put it in solid, but
Solid?
I'm happy to go either way. I mean, they tried, right?
They tried. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We'll do discount aisle.
Inter Miami.
I mean, personally, I wouldn't be caught dead in it.
Right.
But
right. Objectively,
discount aisle. It's fine.
Yep. Agreed. Discount aisle.
It's not even solid for me.
New England Revs.
Solid, I guess.
I agree. Solid. Yeah.
It's
Nothing good or bad about it.
Bog standard.
NYCFC.
I like that one.
I agree with you.
Rocket. Not a classic.
Yeah, I'd rock it. It's not a classic. NYRB, New York Red Bulls. Some call them New Jersey Red Bulls. Where you got?
I think that's a classic. Iconic.
What
do you think?
It's vibing with me. For
I
me,
like that
personally.
one.
Yeah,
I like that one.
It does vibe with me. Look at this. Orlando Health.
Orlando Health.
I think this is what is this? Probably a Dallas shirt.
It's all right. It's got the old logo from when we were in USL.
It does, yeah.
A lot of people like it.
I don't love it.
Solid. You want to do TJ Maxx?
I would do TJ Maxx personally.
We can do TJ Maxx. That's fine. I like it, but yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, there's several coming up that I'm going to put in the TJ Maxx, and my thought process, you can put all the flair you want on the side of it. It's a blank T-shirt.
That's fair. That's fair.
Philly with their lots of triangles on the kit.
Lots of triangles. Solid.
That's interesting because I actually love this, and I'd put it in instant cop.
Okay, we can put it in.
You want to compromise?
Rocket every day. Yeah. Rocket every day. Because it's not a bad kit. It's decent.
Honestly, I think it's quite good. I love what they did with it. That's me personally. So
yeah.
Toronto.
Oh, wouldn't because I hate that one. It's ugly.
Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah,
it's terrible.
Agree with you.
Same with the next one.
With the Austin one, the Yeti one.
Yeah,
I would have put it. I would have put it discount aisle because, like, at least it's got green. You know,
that green is
offset.
Ugly.
All right. You know,
look at that thing.
I'm looking at it.
That thing is.
I'm looking at it, Gavin. Why? I don't know why you would have anything against any Yeti products, really, aside out of a Yeti mug right now.
No, I really don't like that one. I'm sorry.
All right, that's fine. I will humor you on this. Wouldn't be caught dead.
Thank you.
Rapids.
Rocket every day.
You know what? I actually agree with you. It's so funky, and I kind of love it.
Yeah.
Dallas, it feels like this is a Pink Floyd, off the wall, or no, what is it? Pink Floyd, what'd they do? Is the album with the triangle. Oh, I forget what it's called. I'm blanking right now.
All I know is it's got remastered in 2011, I think. It's not another brick in the wall.
No. Point being, it's got a lot of like different spectrums and hues in it. And I really love the gradient that goes on here. Where are you putting this? Solid? You madman. It's going in rocket.
Okay.
And I will accept no.
I have seen that one on all ends of the spectrum. I've seen it. We can keep it there. But I've seen that one all over the place.
It's absolutely staying there. There's no.
Okay.
I'll tell you right now. This is where it belongs.
Who is this one?
This is Houston. This is Houston Dynamo.
It's the purple one
this year. Yeah. I will tell you right now, I thought this was Orlando the first time I saw it.
TJ Maxx.
I agree with you. Yeah. LA Galaxy. You know what? No, I there's nothing further I need to say about it. LA Galaxy.
I have no opinions on this one. I'm sorry. What do you think?
I have no opinions. I'm putting in TJ Maxx.
TJ Maxx.
I mean, Minnesota.
Rocket. I think that's a really good one for the fans.
I agree with you.
Were you going to put it in iconic?
No, I was going to put it between here and solid. Just shout out to Maddie from the MLS Now group chat where she said it looks like an ultrasound in the stomach, which I can't unsee it now that
it also looks like a heat map. For the players.
Right. Yeah.
For like a left center back.
Mm-hmm. This is their areas of possession on the pitch, all the way up here in the corner, nothing in the center, and tons in the defensive third.
For sure. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Portland Timbers.
Iconic. I love that kit.
I was so worried that we were going to disagree. I actually agree with you.
I love that kit. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Surprisingly really good. This picture doesn't do it justice. I really appreciate what's going on the sides here.
Yeah.
I will say, my one worry, I hate the fact that this is a centered logo. More so, I hate the fact that if you wear this in like, I don't know, February to April and November, December, you're probably going to be layering with a jacket and you're going to just otherwise look like you're wearing a plain t-shirt.
Yeah, that's fair. But
that's one drawback to it, but in the summer, it'll look great.
Yeah. Yeah.
RSL?
Wouldn't be caught dead.
You wouldn't be caught dead in it?
I don't like it.
I had this one in solid. That's insane to me. Yeah.
Really?
I don't like it. Shocked. All right.
Do you want to compromise?
What? Yeah, I want to compromise. We're going to put it in the middle, but I understand why you say it wouldn't be caught dead, but
Yeah. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I like this one. What do you
Really?
think?
I don't hate this one. Yeah.
Solid.
I could put this solid. This is Seattle for
Yeah.
the fact that this is gonna eventually be an audio product.
Oh, yeah.
Right. SKC with like all the diamonds, and they say diamonds our forever instead of our forever. Weird hashtag, but the diamonds kit.
Dare I say iconic?
I mean, you could dare to say it, you'd be wrong, but
What do you think? Solid?
it's like maybe a rocket every day on the lower end for me. Look, they've always done diamonds. This just feels unimaginative to me personally.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, we can do rocket. I like it.
Yeah, like I'd wear it. I wouldn't look at this and be like, "Oh, this is like a really cool like designer kit." Like, it's just that I don't know. It's a very safe design. I feel like you have to lose points from it being safe.
Was it Atlanta?
This is the St. Louis Confluence kit.
It's white.
It's white, yes.
It's just white.
Yeah.
With red trim.
Yes.
There's nothing else.
Correct. There's gray lines on it as well. This picture again does not quite tell you what you're seeing, but yes, it is white with gray lines that are kind of squiggly, meant to, I think, signify rivers or tributaries with red trim.
Solid, then?
I mean, I was going to put a discount on
it. Okay, yeah. I was trying to be nice. Yep. Okay.
Vancouver Whitecaps with a jersey that honestly looks like Club America.
Yeah, solid.
Yeah. And not even because it's a Vancouver Whitecaps, but because it looks like Club America.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
FC Cincinnati with their also white t-shirt, the canvas kit, the blank canvas, really specifically. It's got unique trim on the side. No jersey is the same on the side. It is it is a white t-shirt though for everywhere else.
Yeah. Okay.
It does have a waffle knit in it. I will say it's better than a lot of the away jerseys that they've had, but it's not a very high bar.
I'll let you take this one. I'm interested to hear what you think.
I mean, I would love to buy it on discount, personally. I at $165. I don't know if I love it $165.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I would be happy to pay like $100.
I'll pay $100.
Yeah, I'm like, I would be happy to pay the replica price for it. It's just for the teasing and like all the paint and everything, and maybe this one's on me for buying into the hype, but for all the hype that went into this kit, and then it's like a plain kit on the front and back. Again, because I live in the Midwest, I'm going to be wearing jackets to a bunch of matches, and I am otherwise going to be wearing a white shirt with an orange Mercy Health on it.
That's true. Yeah.
If you look at me wearing a jacket, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see an ER and then an EA underneath a probably black or blue jacket that I'm going to be wearing, and you're going to see none of the detail.
Yeah, exactly. Who's this?
I want to say
New England?
Yeah, that seems like New England. I don't.
It's just another white shirt. Very unimaginative. Yeah. No, LAFC.
LAFC, yeah. LAFC is next.
Solid. That's a solid kit.
I'm going to tell you right now, I love pinstripes. I would actually put it Rocket. Maybe even higher. Maybe even higher. I love pinstripes. My favorite FC Cincinnati kit was the orange and blue pinstripe.
Okay. Put it where you want. Put it where you want.
I'm going to put it at Rocket as though we're compromising, but I want you to know that this is a borderline instant cop for me because I love pinstripes. Me personally. Just saying. Nashville, a yellow shirt with a blue rectangle.
Solid.
Yeah, I feel like we have to put it solid because it's not that different from Chicago's.
True. Yeah, it's just backwards. Is this Atlanta?
This is Atlanta, yeah.
I also wouldn't be caught dead with Atlanta, but I think their
Okay.
kit is solid.
I think their kit's higher than that. I think
Okay.
potentially a rocket.
Yeah, it's decent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
I respect this kid a lot. I'm gonna snip this. Hold on.
Okay.
Do.
We did it.
We
made
did it. We made a tier maker. We're part of the collective dialogue. Stop sharing. Okay, Gavin. I love how I'm not wearing
Russell.
any of these kits, for the record. I'm wearing an Arsenal, home kit for 2023, 2024.
I'm wearing an Orlando City sweater.
You are wearing an Orlando City sweater. That makes you more of an MLS sicko than me, because I'm not even wearing an MLS branded thing. I'm wearing something else. So there you go. Good job.
I don't know when this comment came, but I completely missed it. So sorry, Richard. But Richard Rolson says, why didn't Robin Fraser get more of a look? I'm assuming this was back when we were talking about Minnesota United FC.
Most likely, yeah.
None of the teams went with Robin Fraser.
I think so. I have a suspicion that Robin Fraser, like Chris Armas, got a look because he went to Manchester United. Neville got a look because he
played for Manchester United.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people thought Neville got hard done by Miami, and that maybe it wasn't entirely his fault what went on there. I feel like people looked at Robin Fraser, and yes, Colorado heavily underinvested in their team, but they made some attempt at investing in their team this past year when Robin Fraser was still there, and they brought in like Maxo, and they brought in Ronan and some other players, and I think they brought in Gutman as well. And I don't know if Gutman was when Robin Fraser was still there. Don't fact check me on that one, or do I don't care. Point being, I think some people look at it and it's like, well, they went out and got guys that presumably Robin Fraser wanted, and they still didn't do all that hot, and they were on a downward slide with Fraser for like 2 years. So I think a lot of people are like, we'll let someone else take that chance for Robin Fraser, which is insane to me, because Robin Fraser also coached them to the Supporters Shield. So that's, but MLS changes, right? Like we've talked about how there are coaches who.
Well, they didn't win the Supporters Shield, right?
They
only got first in the West.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, that's my bad. First in the West.
Still good. Still very good.
It's quite good. Was that 2019 first in the West? Because that would have been what, New England?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, was New England 2019? No, that was LAFC. Wait, I thought LAFC was 2019. Gavin.
Now first in the West. Was that 2021?
If it was 2021, then I think that was New England that won the Supporters Shield that year.
2021, yes. Colorado Rapids concluded the regular season with a 5-2 victory over LAFC. With the win, the Rapids are in a first-round bye and secure the most points in a single season in club history.
Right.
2021.
Okay, and I think that was New England Revolution won the Supporters Shield that year.
Yeah, and
I think that. Yeah, I was going to say, I think that was the year that Carlos Heel went crazy for the first half of the season, locked up the MVP award, and then got injured and was kind of anonymous for the latter half of the season. So,
yeah. So, yeah.
There you have it.
I don't know why he doesn't get more of a look in all honesty. I think he's a pretty good coach. I think he wasn't supported well at Colorado. And I do think he will get a job here in the next few years.
Yeah, MLS loves to recycle head coaches, especially ones that are already familiar with MLS, because, frankly, the league has some serious learning curve to even learn how to coach in this league effectively. So there's plenty of teams that don't want to go play the waiting game or the lottery that a coach figures out how to coach here in their first couple months and or year. So yeah, right. He'll get a chance. Like he's got a track record. I don't see any issues with him. I think teams just didn't want to be the one to take a chance on him after Colorado.
Right. Yep.
Maybe what he needs to do is go get an assistant coaching job at Manchester United And,
Yeah. For sure. That's
here
his
Eric
next
Ten
move.
Hag has an opening for set pieces.
Yes, he does. Robin Fraser's your man.
Yeah, he couldn't do a worse job, right?
Right. So cool. All right. Well, I think that does it.
No, Gavin.
Oh.
One more segment to talk about.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yep.
Yeah, Gavin, we've talked about this during the off season. We will be finally determining which one of us is better talking soccer and being very lucky with picks. We're going to put our money where our mouth is, our weekly wagers, if you will. We have some nice, friendly, low stakes, 3-leg sports bets going on. We'll do a weekly pick on what we think is going to be doable or pickable for the season. So, Gavin, previewing the opening weekend, you and I went for very, very different strategies as far as picking results go. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first on what we picked and why?
I'll go first. I went very safe. Essentially, all of my picks are plus 0.5 on the spread. I'm relatively new to sports betting, so I didn't really know what that meant. But essentially, what it means is the result. So I picked 3 teams, all plus 0.5, and that is like their handicap, is my understanding. So either they lose by under 0.5 goals, which means a draw, or they win the game. So essentially what I said, and these are the 3 teams I picked Orlando City, Miami, and Seattle. And so I went a little risky with Seattle because I wanted to make some money when I get everything right. But it's Miami versus RSL. They are the home team. Whoa.
Gavin, your camera is freaking out.
Going crazy.
Oh my gosh.
It
Your
didn't
camera,
like
it
didn't
hates
like
your
my
picks.
Yeah.
No. It's like, why would you ever pick Miami?
That's hilarious. But yeah, so
this is amazing. And it's like, oh my gosh, slowly getting worse. I love this. Thank you.
I don't know.
Thank you so much, Gavin.
Anyways, oh, it said a new recording track created. I just like totally glitched out.
You've ruined everything, Gavin.
I have ruined everything. But sorry, Orlando City. I'm not even showing up on the live stream. Hold on.
Oh my gosh, this guy broke the recording.
All right, you're just going to have to repeat everything I say for the next minute or so.
No, I'm not going to.
What happened?
You gotta fix your own tech, Gavin.
Literally, everything was fine. But Orlando City have never lost the first game of the season at home. So that's why I said win or draw. Miami, I don't think they're going to lose their home opener. I just don't see it happening. And then Seattle are going to do well against LAFC. So that's why I picked them.
You are a very bold individual. I will not touch a Seattle LAFC match with a 10-foot pole. Gavin, I went even safer than you. I took straight money line picks. I took Orlando City to win over Montreal. I took St. Louis City to win over Real Salt Lake, and I took Cincinnati to win over Toronto. I'm blown away by the odds that are being offered on St. Louis City versus RSL, which is weird to me. They seem to think that it's a relatively close match, and yet St. Louis at home against RSL, who plays 2 matches on the opening week, both of which are away, is mind-boggling to me. I don't know why the line is so evenly split between them. So, anyways, that's my picks. Best of luck, Gavin. I hope you win, but obviously I have to say I hope you lose for the purposes of our contest here. But I wish you the best of luck.
We'll track who wins and who doesn't.
Yes, we will do a weekly check for true bragging rights, and we can see who was better at putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, I am not better at putting my camera in a position to succeed. It literally just broke. I don't really know what happened.
Gavin, sounds like you need a new
And I was
camera.
messing with it, and I don't know what happened there either.
Now it's broken even more. It went from black to, well, it's still blacked out. I don't know what to tell you, Gavin. Go buy a new camera.
Know.
Go spend $10 on Amazon for some cheap webcam.
Yeah. Well, the good news is even though I'm not showing on stream, I can hear myself on stream. So
there you go. Perfect.
There you go. Cool. Okay. Well, now I think we're done.
Oh no, we're done. Oh my.
Oh yeah. You no. You gave your picks. I was about to say you need to give your picks, but I'm all over the place tonight, man. First stream back, it's a mess.
First stream back. Look, you gotta shake off that wedding cobwebs and dust in your head.
Yeah. It's rough out here, kids.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night.
Yep. Gavin, thank you very much. As always, listeners, thank you very much. As always, just a brief reminder, you can find the podcast on social media at MLS Now Podcast. You can find Gavin on social media at LionsBlog1. You can find me on social media at Mr. Danger Russ. Gaviners, listeners, thank you. As always, MLS is back in like 2 days, actually, as Miami kicks off on Wednesday. But MLS is back this coming weekend at large. Enjoy it. And as always, till next time.
Till next time.